Well, hey everybody. So welcome into our first Talking Habs panel discussion. And it's our first panel discussion. And of course, we'd have our first technical glitch tonight. So unfortunately, at least to start off, we won't be having Scotian Canadien on because he's having technical issues at home. And I don't know if we're going to get him on. So I really apologize. But he did promise that if he can get on tonight, he'll be on the next one, which could be as early as Saturday. So really sorry, anybody who tuned in for Scotian Canadien. I don't know. I can't apologize enough. I'm really sorry, but it's technical issues, and we can't resolve them in time. So all right. So it doesn't mean that we have nobody, and it's not just me that's going to be here. So just to let you know what this is all about, because that might help. You might want to know what you're into watching here. So this is a panel discussion show. It's going to be a regular thing here on Talking Habs. Hopefully we'll do at least one of these every week. And we're going to talk about, in general, anything that's in the news for the Habs and Montreal Canadiens in general, any issues. And then NHL stuff, too, if there's any big news to talk about with the NHL. We'll do that on a regular basis here in these panel discussion shows. We'll have different people, and as we're doing more of these shows, there'll be, a more varied group of people to what's the word, call from, or to call on to take part here. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on the rest of the cast or the crew that was supposed to be here tonight. We're all here. Except there's one guy not in his chair, so we'll leave him for last. So starting out, the first guy in the room, so he's going to get introduced first. So you might know him from his YouTube channel, where he does all kinds of funny little skit shows and unboxings and stuff. So bringing you in, Shamir. Shamir, how's it going, buddy? Oh, Shamir's technical problems. Your sound is down again. So we're going to let Shamir work that out while he's still on screen. So pressure's on Shamir. So that's Shamir. He'll be in a sec for when he gets his sound up. So apologize, everybody. You see technical issues happens on the first night. Next up is you may watch him after the hockey games, after the Habs games. He does a live stream where, depending on the Habs, how they do, Shamir will be back when he gets his thing fixed. Depending on how they do, it's he's either happy or he could be angry. So that's Harry Rice. Harry, how's it going? Please have some sound. Do we?
It's going great. I hope you can hear me here.
Yes, we have sound with Harry. I'm going to bring in the next guest, and you probably have. We'll go back to Shamir. Shamir, how's your sound going?
How's that?
Awesome. Say hi to everybody.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Rick. And guess what I'm drinking out of today?
The glass that Shamir
Yes.
on here. That was one of the giveaways for anybody who donates, and it's the same here tonight. So if anybody donates to the channel or does take a membership, you get entered into a contest. If you look behind me, there's a gray shirt there. That's what I'm giving away next, but that's where the glass came from. Shamir won that glass. Okay, so next up, we're bringing into the room is my, you guys have seen him on a lot of my broadcasts. My podcast partner is Jeff. Jeff, say hi.
Hello.
No issues on your end?
I'm going to be subdued tonight.
No, we want something. We want people to be excited, and emotions work well when you're doing a talk show like this, and we want all the hatred to go down to the bottom.
Okay, let me get a couple of these in me, and we'll get fired up.
All right. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different topics tonight, and it's going to be a little bit different not having Matt here tonight. So I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I don't know if that's a pleasant thought for anybody to think about. So just, think about butterflies and puppies and all that, and that'll help. So what we want to talk about is this is potentially what's on the list tonight. And I don't know if this has kind of fallen off the what's the word I'm looking for? The
radar.
The radar. That's it. Is the Tony D'Angelo situation. I'm not sure we'll hit on that tonight, although we probably will because there's a poll that I want to talk about that I put up. So I don't want to really waste that. So we're going to talk about that for a few minutes. We're going to talk about the trades that Montreal made for the two defensemen. So that's John Merrill and Eric Gustafson coming in onto the team. We're going to talk about Montreal losing Victor Mete to the waiver wire to the Ottawa Senators. We're going to these are potentials because I don't know how long all this is going to take, right? So some of this might not end up in here, but we're going to try to hit on everything. Habs lineup, all the juggling that's been going on, what we think maybe our opinions of who should play with who. Has Ducharme, is he a little desperate in all these juggling the lineups? And has he lost the room maybe? I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. Chances in the playoffs for the Habs, chances after last night's game, chances to make the playoffs for the Habs, we might actually hit on. The poll results. And finally, two last things. Eric Staal and the impact or non-impact of Eric Staal and the protected list. We might get to that. And there's a couple questions I'd like to ask these guys about the protected list and what they thought. So those are the things that we're going to talk about. What we'd also like to do at the end of the show. So if you are interested to come on here in the last half hour and ask us a question. I'm going to put this thing up so you know what to do. So I don't have to really describe it all. So if you give me a sec, I have this prepared, or I did have this prepared. Here we go.
Habs saying go Price go. Matt had some technical internet issues and don't think he's going to be able to get in tonight.
Yeah, so we're not 100% sure if he's out, but it looks like he is tonight. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but he will be on more than likely on the next one that we do. He has he's said to give you all his apologies for not being able to be here tonight. But just like you saw, Shamir had some technical difficulties earlier on. Harry did. It's growing pains with a new show. That's exactly it's Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong, it's going to go wrong, and that's what it is. So if you want to be on the show a little later to ask a question and to appear here, just follow those instructions. If you qualify with all those instructions, you can be on this show. And anybody who's a regular in here would know that they know the score. Let's see. Let's say hi to a few people. Bob Cannon. Need a rundown list like they do on Pardon the Interruption? I don't think I've ever seen that. That's that sports show, right? They have a timer and move on to the next topic when time is up for that topic on the list. That's a good idea. I'm going to try to kind of
that show.
That. Yeah, I'm going to try. There's a timer up there. I'm going to try to keep to that, and we'll see how it goes. But I apologize. It's the first show. So, things could go wrong sometimes. It happens. Once again, anybody tuning in for Matt, where's Matt? Matt had technical difficulties. Last-second cancellation. If he gets the problem solved, he'll be on later, but we're not sure. So last second too. So it's really
I don't think he's going to make it.
Yeah, I kind of don't either. Bob Cannon, just a suggestion. No problem. Suggestions are welcome because I'm never afraid to learn something new. That's for sure. Okay, so we're going to get into, I guess, the first topic here. It won't be that heavy topic of D'Angelo. We'll save that for a little bit later. But I'm interested to know because I have a feeling of the thing I'm going to ask. Harry might be the most informed on this. So the thing is now we're 4 people. If you can try, and myself included, if someone's talking, just try to like that, and because we're going to talk on top of each other, and people won't hear anything. So if we can remember to do that, if not, well. It is what it is. All right. So first thing I want to know is of the 2 new defensemen that we just traded for, what are your guys' opinions on them, and where do you think they slot into this team, and what kind of contribution do you think they can give. And because I thought Harry might have the most information on here, Harry, I'm going to lead off with you. What do you think of John Merrill and Eric Gustafson as a pickup at the end here, or at the deadline and going into the playoffs?
Firstly, thank you for having me. But I really like the addition of Eric Gustafson. He's not the greatest defensively, but I love what he can bring in terms of puck moving defenseman. He 2 seasons ago he had 60 points with the Chicago Blackhawks. We kind of need that at this point. We are a team of Weber and Sherrod, Edmondson, and Kulak who are defensive minded. To bring someone in like Eric Gustafson who can be like a Jeff Petrie and move the puck and help the Canadiens offensively on the blue line, I love that addition. Where he slots in, I could see until Sherrod gets back, maybe he slots on that top pairing with Shea Weber to maybe have an offensive defenseman and Gustafson, the defensive-minded, and Weber if you want to have that work. Otherwise, I do think they maybe keep that Kulak-Weber pairing together and potentially scratch Alexander Romanov, most likely Xavier Ouellet for Eric Gustafson to come in. John Merrill, I like him. He's a good defensive third pairing defenseman. Not going to provide the best offense from what I've looked up and seen of him. He's a good defensive defenseman. Like I said, he can provide offense occasionally. If you need him to play very, very well in your third pairing, that's the guy to go for. Really like getting those two guys on the team. And plus, only giving up, Hayden Verbeek, a 5th and a 7th combined for those two. It's a great trade-off in my opinion.
I got to say, for me, when first of all, for what they paid for them, 100% it's zero risk, and it's at very least it's depth in case of injury and stuff like that. When I first heard about it, I thought the same as you about Gustafson. And asked Jeff because Jeff was the opposite, and I kind of changed my view on it. I thought, okay, here's the guy for Weber that they were looking for. The problem is he's kind of bad defensively. So because of that, considering they really cost him nothing, I'm not so sure that he does get the way Weber's playing. I don't know if you want to put a guy like that. Like if he was a little better defensively, I agree with you on his offense and his puck moving and all that. Without a doubt, I kind of see him being more of a specialized guy on certain like matchups and stuff like that. And when he is playing, he doesn't get defensive starts. Like I don't think of that kind of stuff. So I kind of like I was of one mind when it happened. Then I did a little research, listened to what some people were saying, and I thought, yeah. But I do like the fact that, yes, this is a guy that scored 60 points with Chicago just 2 seasons back. And, I mean, he's not that far removed from it. There's no reason to say that he can't find that scoring touch again. And if he can, then you might be a lot more willing to put up with the defensive deficiencies on that, right? Jeff, and Shamir, only because Jeff had a funny face when Harry was optimistic about it, like I was the first time I talked to him about it. So, Jeff, tell everybody like what we talked about, like what your opinion is on that.
He's just not very good defensively.
Well, he's not. That's true.
And 60 points 2 years ago on a team with Patrick Kane is a lot different than there was a lot of power play points there for him. Yeah, I don't think he's anything more than an insurance policy. Like he might get a game or two, but I think he's going to sit on the taxi squad or in the press box, whatever and if they have to put him through waivers, they didn't give anything up for him. And I don't really see anybody really claiming him. To be honest, I would rather still have Victor Mete than Gustafson. The only thing is the experience factor. Like he's made playoff runs in Chicago, so I'm never against that. The more experience you have in the room, the better. I mean, I don't dislike the guy or anything like that. Like, I just when I heard people say kind of like what Harry was saying and what you said earlier, throw him on the top pair where Weber's kind of struggling. Well, I don't even agree that Weber's really our top pair anymore. I kind of think it's Edmondson and Petrie, but either way, it doesn't really matter. But to put him with Weber, where Weber's kind of struggling, I don't know if that's the right move. And to send Romanoff down, which I think is probably what's going to happen. Not that I agree with it. I just think it's going to happen because there's no consequences to setting him down because you're not going to lose any. Like he's waiver exempt, where Kulak wouldn't be. I think that I wouldn't mind seeing Romanoff and Weber together again, just to see how that worked out, and maybe lessen the role of Weber some. Like I don't know. Gustafson and what was the other player? Merrill. I've never seen the guy play. I don't really know anything about him. I can't remember the last time I watched a Red Wings game, and I don't remember him when he was in Vegas. So I did watch that magical Stanley Cup playoff run by Vegas, but I don't remember his name. But I looked him up today, and they said he had 16 games of playoff experience. So
That's always good.
yeah, so I was kind of shocked. I was like, I don't remember him, but that doesn't mean he didn't. He was bad or anything, or he was good. Like it's just I just don't remember.
Well, sometimes not remembering a guy isn't a bad thing, always, right? Shamir, you've been there silent for a while, and everybody sees Shamir's back. Nobody, everybody was worried Shamir how he was doing, so everybody sees Shamir's doing okay, and he's back. So, how do you? What do you think about these moves?
Well, it certainly appeases some of the critics who always get into a panic mode when Bergevin doesn't tard for anyone. But considering considering that this was a low cost trade, my expectations aren't really too high for these new acquisitions that we got. I think it's just going to be like throwing spaghetti at a wall and just seeing what sticks, which I think is also also similar to how I feel about another topic that we might discuss later on tonight about lineup, juggling and all that sort of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I didn't talk about Merrill. For me, John Merrill is not a bad pickup either. Like, let me see, top pairing with Detroit this year, 20 minutes a game on average. -2, the only -2 defenseman on Detroit, which is saying something because their other guys were like really bad numbers. I think he's going to be capable. Definitely to fill in. I actually kind of think we might see Merrill play more than Gustafson, at least at the start. So, yeah, I think these are good pickups. Can't have too many defensemen. And Bergevin is a defenseman, former defenseman, right? So, yeah, this makes a lot of sense for, if they weren't going to get that big name that's going to move the needle big time. This is okay. I get it. I'm not counting on them the way they're playing to win a cup right now. Although you get into the playoffs, what's that?
The problem is though, Rick, is like we just added more guys that we don't really know what to do with. Like I was kind of hoping we were going to get someone that we would be like, okay, that's the guy. He's going to do his job. Right. Like
I get it.
It's more of this, like more guys that we have to figure out how they fit in the puzzle. Like. True. I'd rather have somebody that's putting the puzzle together and in charge than, which is kind of bad because that's kind of where we expected Weber. Like that's Weber's role, and I don't know what's wrong with him. Like I'm not going to crap on the guy. He's the captain. He's the leader of the team. He's probably doing other things other than what's going on the ice that. I'm not going to discredit him for. I think he's a great person, but he's struggling lately, and I don't know if it's an injury or if it's just the amount of games. I don't know what it is, but the last few games there seems to be. Well, I mean, it's been off and on all year, but the last little bit, it just seems like it's almost like he's lost a step
And it's
or a
his
half a
vision.
step.
His vision. I mean, look at last night's game, third goal. He literally, like, I gave him an assist on the third goal in my review because he literally got the puck, looked, gave it to the guy. He's like, here. Oh, yeah, the goalie's right over there. You want me to direct you? Like,
I mean,
that's kind of what it was like.
But I mean, like, those mistakes are magnified when the team's not playing well,
Yeah, I get that.
right? Like, that's like there's mistakes every game, and when the team's winning, you don't notice them, but when they're losing, everybody hones in on that, right?
Yeah,
and
true, of course.
But I've been saying for better part of 2 months now that the defense isn't that good, but I guess that's my nice way of saying Weber's not playing well, but it's not just him.
So we'll get into the Shea Weber since we were going to talk about it. So what do you guys think? The Shea Weber situation. For me, my question on him is, obviously it seems like there's something wrong and there's like a nagging injury. Is it the foot that he didn't take care of really last year? He's had plenty of time to recuperate for that. But I mean, is there some nagging there? Is he in his decline? Is it like a combination of the two? But there's something definitely doesn't seem right with Weber right now. What do you guys think? And Shamir, we'll go with you first because you had the last one last time. What do you think about what's going on with Weber?
I think that if I had to, put a guess to something, I think it could very well be that he's playing injured. I think Jeff was right that the mistakes are certainly there a lot more for Weber. It was just getting covered up during the early part of the season because we were winning. But I just really think that he just could very well be that he's in decline. I mean, for somebody who's 35, going on 36, this summer as well, just the wear and tear on the body, and just being a defenseman as well is just that's one of the more grueling positions in hockey, apart from being a goalie. That at that age that it's just gonna show a lot more. But I don't want to crap on Weber either, but just with that huge contract and everything, you might want to, it just makes you wonder.
I don't think we have to say we're crapping on him to question what's really going on there, right? I'm not saying we have to, be nasty about it, but there's something going on there. Harry, what do you think about what's going on? Were you done, Shamir? I'm sorry to move on.
Well, I just, preface that, by saying that by, just segueing into my final thought, and I'll just make it quick, is that, if Bergevin just wanted to call up Nashville and say, hey, do you want this guy so we can clear up a lot of cap space on the books, it was just, it would just be like, I don't think I would be totally opposed to that as much as I like and respect Weber and everything.
I get you that, and I have a feeling a lot of people are who weren't there last year are kind of leaning toward it. What do you think, Harry? What do you think about what's up, like with Weber? Is something wrong? Is he in decline? Is it like both? What do you think? It's coming. Oh, he left and he's having more of a delay. Okay, Harry's having technical issues, so he's having a delay there.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, you got a delay going on there, buddy. Maybe if you could fix it, because I think it's pretty.
How much of a delay do we have?
A big one, big delay. I think even his screen is big delay.
All
okay,
right, so I'll try and fix it.
Yeah, sorry. So we're gonna have to move on from. We'll get his opinion after. I know this is something that Jeff was very vocal on, and from everything I've seen on Twitter and just people's opinions, I think it's kind of mixed on this particular topic, and that's Victor Mete being claimed off waivers by Ottawa. So I know Jeff definitely felt that they could have gotten like at least a 7th round pick, and I don't really disagree that they could have, but where I differ is I don't know that he didn't try. So to say that he could have or not. So I guess the controversy is, should Montreal have gotten at least a 7th round pick for Victor Mete instead of just putting him on waivers? Shamir, we're going to go to you first because I know how Jeff feels about it, and we'll get to him after. But I want to know, how do you feel? Because I haven't talked to you about it. How do you feel?
Yeah.
Do you think they could have done something better with Victor Mete?
Yeah, I think that they could have at least gotten something like like a draft pick, because because it's quite obvious Mete didn't have a whole lot of trade value this season, considering how many games he's played, played and how many games he's just sat in the press box this season. And like you said, it could have just been, who's to say that Bergie didn't try? But, you got to do what you got to do. And at the end of the day, I'm not really losing a whole lot of sleep over it. I think that, that there are others coming up through the pipeline, and I don't think that this is a huge loss. Maybe that this is a bit of a steal for the Sens, and unless he becomes a Habs killer, I just don't think that this is really a huge loss at the end of the day.
Yeah, I kind of agree, and I'm just like, as much as I was a proponent for Victor Mete, because at the beginning of the season I talked about that I thought he gave a different look to the defense, and his speed is something that's really good. But at this point in the season, either they didn't give him a good enough chance, or he didn't take advantage of that chance. And I think it was probably time to move on either way that they could. And that's how I feel. I don't know that it's anybody's fault. I don't know what Bergevin was able to do or not. So, Harry, how do you feel about Victor Mete being lost like that to Ottawa? We're testing to see how his delay is right now. No, not fixed. Technical issues. They really are a pain in the ass. So, Jeff, we'll get you in here because that's how big the delay is. Harry still hasn't heard the question. So I know how you feel, but tell everybody. How do you feel about them losing him like that?
I think it was horrible asset management. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that the only reason they couldn't get a 7th round draft pick for Victor Mete was because of how they handled his situation this year. They drove his price down to where they basically gave him away for nothing. Yeah, well, that's exactly what they did. If they had any questions about Victor Mete, he should have been traded in the offseason after the bubble. It's ridiculous to me. Like, why that kid did nothing to this franchise to deserve the treatment that he received this season. I think it's ridiculous. He came in here as a rookie. He played on the top pair. He played with Shea Weber. He's done everything that was asked of him. He took a 18-year-old rookie in Kotkaniemi and took him under his wing and befriended him and showed him the ropes of the NHL. I just think it was total disrespect of Victor Mete. And sure, yeah, okay, the guy only scored 2 goals or whatever in the last, but I'm not saying I expected him to be our top pair defenseman with Weber. I don't think they gave him the honest to God shot this year. Poor Harry. It just ticks me off because and if there wasn't room for Victor Mete, there wasn't room. But they created that problem and then drove his price down to the fact that they couldn't get anything for him. Where if they traded him a year ago, they probably at least got a second, or well, maybe not a second. Oh, excuse me. They probably could have got at least a 5th round pick for Victor Mete. Yeah, which is a lottery ticket.
Right? They traded him at the beginning of the season when they asked. Remember, they asked for him and his agent asked for a trade. They might have actually got something then too.
Exactly.
I get
Like they literally, the management was the reason that Victor Mete wasn't worth a 7th round draft pick to anyone. Literally, that's who screwed this up.
Yeah, I get your point.
The kid can skate. I'm not into Corsi numbers, but you always tell me that the Corsi numbers are good on him, his possession and all this stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't think, is he a good defenseman? Not really, but we just went and got Eric Gustafsson to basically do the exact same thing that Mete was doing, only Gustafsson's
too. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Gustafsson might score a goal or two more than Mete was going to. Like, he's not a big goal scorer himself, but like, I just feel like that. I'm just annoyed by it. We ditched a young asset. We destroyed his value. But really, like, I guarantee you, he's gonna be a thorn in our side in Ottawa. And I think back to Mark Streit. Remember Mark when we had him?
Yeah.
That's what I think is what this is gonna end up being like.
Yeah, he went on to having a pretty good career after he was here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harry, we haven't heard you at all. How's your timing? Your delay's good?
Hello,
Yeah,
everybody.
There we go.
That's much better. Okay, so let's hear your opinion on the Montreal Canadiens losing Victor Mete for nothing. And he froze again. Oh no.
Honestly, I think it's a good thing that we lost Mete. I'm not gonna say that we lost him for nothing is a good thing. I think Bergevin tried. Bergevin looked to trade Mete, but when you think about it, if you're trying to trade him to a contender, teams like Tampa Bay, Carolina, Florida, Vegas, these teams don't need defensemen. The only potential contender that I would argue maybe needs a defenseman is Boston, but you're not trading Victor Mete to the Boston Bruins.
No.
The contenders don't need more defensemen. And if you look at teams like Detroit and Ottawa, even, like, they wouldn't trade for Mete because they have young defensemen that they could bring up instead of Mete, or that they're going to have for the future. The only team I would argue that needs defensemen that could have worked with Mete is San Jose, because San Jose has a terrible bottom pairing. I think Mete could have slotted in well there. I just don't think that they would have wanted to trade for Victor Mete. I think the only choice was to put him on waivers, and Ottawa probably claimed him just to have him for this year. I don't think Mete gets tendered an offer, honestly, from Ottawa, unless he puts up some type of unless he proves himself to really be solid in Ottawa. I don't think they're going to tender an offer to him. I think he's going to go to free agency, unrestricted free agency. And when you think about it, even if we do lose Mete, this is a good thing because we have young defensemen of our own that are going to be coming up the lineup. Caden Gooley, for example. Mete's a left defenseman. Caden Gooley could take that spot that Mete had this year. Could have it maybe a year from now, 2 years from now. We have defensemen that are able to come in and replace Mete. I think this isn't really that big of a deal, personally.
But my issue, Harry, is not the fact of Victor Mete per se, like his skill level on the ice. My issue is the fact that they destroyed his value for no other reason than to destroy his value. Like, they literally didn't do anything to help their cause there. If they didn't think the kid could make it, they should have traded him at the draft, or they should have traded him, like you said, to a San Jose or something, and got something for him, or packaged him with someone else in another trade to get another draft pick or something. Something should have. They literally gave him away for nothing, and I think that's stupidity. Like, I don't understand. I'll give Bergevin credit for everything he did this year, leading up to literally to this trade deadline. But this trade deadline, I think, was a complete failure, and I think losing Mete for nothing to bring in Eric Gustafsson was why? Like, it annoys me. I'm not mad. I'm just annoyed by it. Like, I don't like giving up on young players like that. Like, they destroyed his value where they could have got something for him if they had made the decision in the off season and got something for him.
Roger, just to say, they did that. I mean, Willette is a Rocket defenseman. As a matter of fact, the captain of the Rocket, and he's up on the team right now. Just thought I'd throw that in. Okay, yeah. So let's move on to the next topic. And,
sorry,
I
Harry, I didn't mean to
still
jump
here,
on
guys?
you. Yeah, sorry, Harry, I didn't mean to jump all over you. It's just I'm annoyed by the fact that we gave him away for nothing.
Jump on who? Hey, this is a discussion. Just because Harry's the youngest in the group, don't shield him from.
Like I'm not of an illusion here and thinking. Like, I agree with everybody. Like I agree with everybody. Victor Mete wasn't like awesome or anything. I agree with everybody. It's just the fact that we couldn't even get a 7th round draft pick for him. That's what annoys me.
No, I get that, and it's annoyed a lot of people. You're not the only one, but anyway, that we're just here to give our opinion.
Like nobody's saying anything wrong. Like I agree with you. He's not that great. It's just we made him look even worse than he is.
Jeff's just trying to make himself look like a human being. That's all.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to the
Sorry, guys.
To the next topic. Next topic will be the Habs lineup. Now, the other day, I think it was the 4th game in a row, excuse me, that there was a new lineup for me to report and to put in the preview or whatever. And I think I said in my video that it's kind of screams of desperation. And then it turned out, I think that was the lineup for the Toronto game, and it turned out they go on the beat Toronto. So what do I know, right? But again, there's another new lineup. Or no, there wasn't. That was the same lineup. So that same lineup that beat Toronto goes ahead and just craps the bed against Calgary. So the lineup changes. First of all, I'm curious what you guys think. Does it annoy you to see so many, like every game, there's a new lineup? Does that annoy each of one of you? And we'll take it from the top down. So from Shamir down to Harry. Go ahead, Shamir.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do remember that we, like myself, Ulrich, and Jeff, when we were on the...
I have no clue.
No, it's okay. Shamir's talking.
Okay. In terms of Julian not being able to change the lineups if something doesn't work, and I think, as I said earlier, like with the defensive pairings and everything, this just looks like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what works and just trying a whole bunch of different things. And right now we're just seeing the results. It just seems like, Julian, we were playing like this as well when Julian wasn't, changing stuff, and they're still playing almost the same way when, things are getting changed too much. So it doesn't
matter. It doesn't matter what they do. They just keep playing the same. By the way, I think we're going to call Harry Houdini because he keeps disappearing. I feel bad for him. He's got technical issues. Yeah, no, listen, I agree. It's it just has that, like, I said screams of desperation. It kind of does. Jeff, what do you think about how many times they juggle the lineup? You think it's necessary, or you think it's kind of... I mean, I get the fact that he's got to find the right combination, but the last time, I mean, it did well, and then again, craps the bed, right? So what do you think about that?
I don't know what to think anymore. Really, I don't. Like, I mean, things aren't good, and things basically haven't been good since before Ducharme got handed the reins. I think he's just trying to find anything that'll work. I'll give him credit. For one thing, he's willing to do that where Julian wasn't. But part of me, I said this in a live stream there the other night when I kind of went on a little bit of a rant, like, maybe this is why Julian didn't juggle the lines, because he knew these guys couldn't handle that. I don't know. I literally have no... I think literally the whole franchise, everybody's scrambling. I feel like everybody's scrambling, and I don't like that. Like, it seemed like Bergevin had a plan going into this year, and that plan's not working out, and they literally are scrambling to try and figure out what to do next, and that's never a good position to be in.
No.
The only plus is they're 4 points up on Calgary. They got games in hand. They play against them. They just got to win a couple of those games, and Calgary basically goes away.
Yeah, but it's just backing into the playoffs. I mean, in other words, that's all they're going to do.
Well, but like seriously, we're used to this. This has been the last how many years with this team? It's been the same. We know this story. We've read this book. Like,
yeah, I know, but this just didn't seem like the year we're going to have to do that again.
It didn't, and
I'm so disappointed that this might go down to like the wire again.
I don't know. People are upset with me in the chat over Mete. Like, I'm not saying Mete is the greatest player. I'm telling you, though, I have a feeling this kid is going to be a had killer. I'm not saying he's going to go out and play great against every other team, but I have a feeling he's going to come back to hurt us every chance he gets. Like, he may score 5 goals a year, and they're all going to be against Montreal.
I bet it's because it's happened how many times, right? I mean, it's not like it's the first. It's not our first rodeo here.
I'm not in love with the guy or anything. I'm just pissed off that they destroyed his value and couldn't even get like a 5th or 6th round pick for him. Like,
it's not our first rodeo, and I was just thinking about that for a sec. This seems to be what happens, right? So if we do something like this with a player or whatever, they go somewhere else, they come back to haunt us, like, right, and be a killer. And it's kind of the vice versa. A Habs killer goes out there, and maybe Tyler Toffoli might be a little bit different here, but usually, and I'm thinking Thomas Caberlet, we get him, and he can't do shit for us.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what happens all the time? So, yeah. So, okay, Harry's back in. Harry, how's your timing? You're good? No. Oh, okay. We'll wait for Harry to get good there. So, Ducharme. So, would you guys I guess in what your answers were, it does kind of scream of desperation, right? So, if he's desperate like this, you think he's lost the room at all?
No.
I don't. That was a quick answer. So you don't see any signs of him having lost the room?
I just, to be honest with you, Rick, I don't think any coach is going to have this room.
Well, okay. So
I don't think Julian ever had it.
Well,
I don't.
So wait a second. So you're not saying he hasn't lost it. He never had the room, is what you're saying.
I don't think any coach has had this room.
So wait, explain that. Are you saying the players just do what they want?
Yeah.
And that could be the problem. So, because listen, you may be right? Because it changed the coach, team plays the same, and you can't even say at any one particular point since Ducharme took over that, oh wow, this really looks different. The only thing I will give credit to for a player that basically kind of stepped up in his leadership of the team and everything and played well on the ice for a little while, but it's tailed off now and it doesn't look good is Drouin. Drouin was awesome when Ducharme took over. He was awesome. Like, his interviews were excellent. He was saying all the right things. He sounded like he knew what it was expected of him, and then I see him dogging it into the corner and not skating back and covering his man, and I'm like, But for a couple weeks, Drouin looked like, all right, he's going to become a focal point of this offense, which is what he's supposed to be, and he never did it. He's still only, how many goals has he got? 2? 2.
I'm frustrated with that part of it. I just don't think I hate to say it, but I think there's too many egos in this dressing room, and I don't think any of these guys deserve to have egos.
Too many egos in the room with all the because that's not the first time I've actually heard that question with so many either former captains or just big name players as far as Perry, Staal, you got Weber. I mean, you got Price. I mean, is there too many egos in the room? Is this?
I don't think it's the new guys. I think it's the guys that have always been here.
So which guys would you say you're talking about? Though?
All right, now the chat's going to really hate me.
No, I don't, and I don't mean it in a way that you have to point fingers. What I'm asking is because we don't know. We're not in the room. We don't know, so you can't know, and I can't know if I'm taking the opposite end also, right? So what I'm asking is, who do you think would be these players? And you don't have to point at one, but like who you think it might be.
I just think it's the basic guys that have been here for the last few years that I think there's a flaw in those players that coaches can't seem to get through to them, and like
okay,
I don't know.
I know you're talking about Drouin, but I thought we figured that Ducharme was getting through to him. But that's got to be one of them because Drouin, that was something I said about him last year, is that he doesn't seem coachable.
Yeah, well, I just feel like Drouin was never going to fit into Julian's system. Drouin's a pond hockey player. He's got excellent. Yes, that sucks, Harry. Oh well.
Yeah, I told him.
Another one bites the dust.
I told him to stop struggling. He was struggling. I didn't want him to feel bad about it, so I told him to stop. And better off, don't worry about it. It's good. We'll get him next time. Opening night, man. Opening night. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Harry, no worries about it, buddy. No worry.
I don't know what's wrong, but we've changed everything except for some of the players on this team. We brought in new guys. The new guys are having success, and we're no further ahead. Like,
new guys are having success. Perry is. Well, okay, I guess the only one that's really not, Eric Staal, is really not having success.
Yeah, we'll talk about him later. I tried to judge him. He's only been here a week.
Okay, that's true. But but we will get to that later. Shamir, you've been quiet here. Shamir, what's your opinion on just what we were talking about? Well, like, what's your opinion on this?
Yeah, I just think that since there really hasn't been much of a change from Julien to Ducharme, it's just I just think that there might be some hurt feelings over some off-season transactions that happened for some guys but didn't happen for others. I mean, that's just my guess.
So we're talking Danault Gallagher, the Gallagher signing, and then Danault. That's got to be a reference to that because that's the only one I know like that.
Well, I mean, partly because certain players, especially mostly the new acquisitions that that they were able to get the deals, and certain people who felt that they might have been worthy of those kinds of
Tatar and
deals. I mean, that's just speculation on my part. Again, as Jeff said, we're not in that room, so I don't know. We have
no idea. We're not experts. We're not insiders. Yeah. We don't know what's going on. We're here for speculation.
Also, as you pointed out in your latest video, there's just like this kind of core group of players who we see as the leadership core there that just aren't that just aren't stepping it up, and I think that's
leadership. Yeah. This is a big problem, right? I mean, the leadership. Jeff's been complaining about this for a while now about how the veteran, like we're talking about and complaining about the kids a lot of nights not stepping it up, but where are the veterans stepping up? They're not every night at all. And I know Jeff's been complaining about that, so that's fair. Like I said it in my video today, like where's the leadership? Last night's game, how they didn't come out looking prepared is beyond me. I don't understand that. Where's the hunger to win? Every second game? That's it. Seems to be every second game.
Well, I mean, in the last days of the Julien regime, we were seeing a lot of this, especially if they shit the bed versus Ottawa, and then they play them maybe like the next night or the next game or whatever.
Right.
They just come out flat again, and that's. I mean, we're just seeing more of this. It seems just like
Well,
every other game you come to show up, or once out of one out of every 3 or 4 games, and I'm like, come on.
No, that's it. What's the difference between Julian and the Ducharme-led team? I don't see a difference that way. It kind of looked like maybe, but it was a slow start. But I mean, there was never really a point since the takeover, and I'm not blaming this on Ducharme. I'm not trying to, criticize him. I don't know what's going on.
He was just thrown into the lion's den, it seemed.
It hasn't been a difference. There's not been a point where you go, oh, this is clearly, because Jeff made this point to me the other day. This is clearly a Ducharme team, and that was clearly a Julian team, because they kind of look the same, and it's hard. Jeff was saying if he didn't know who the coach was, he could look at a game and say, well, that's a Julian coach game, and it was a Ducharme game. Like, that's really what we're seeing, and I don't get why that is. I mean, it's 2 different coaches. They're supposed to have 2 different styles. Where is the difference here? I'm not seeing it really. And
I want to.
Yeah, you want me to call up a comment?
Well, yeah, Sly Habs guy. Like, okay, explain yourself. Like, we're on here in front of everyone. Like, what is it you want? Like, the team's not winning. It's like,
I'll just say this. Wait a second. If you don't like it, it's fine. You don't have to, but there's other people out there got shows on. Maybe you should go watch that if you don't understand what's going on here.
I mean, I get it. Like, we're just fans like everyone else, but I mean, I know what I'm watching. I don't like what I'm watching, and I see the same issues pretty much night in, night out, and it's not like this is the first year for it. So I don't know, like, what else is there? There's nothing left to do. There's no one else coming. They can't make any trades. They can't fire another coach. They can't do anything else to try and fix this season. It's the players on the ice that have to do it, and that's who this all falls on right now, is the players on the ice. The fact that Price is out and Gallagher is out, that's a huge problem right now, especially Gallagher. I really didn't think they'd miss Gallagher as much as they are, but they are. I thought it would be a lot better. Like, I thought they had the depth to overcome somebody like Gallagher missing time.
Why are we sucking up to this guy? If he doesn't understand what's going on, it's not my problem. So, Scotian Canadien. Hey, Matt, thanks for coming in and putting that up. I appreciate that. So, he's just confirming that we didn't make this up. I didn't make it up that Matt was supposed to be here, because I was
really hoping to hang out with Matt tonight.
I kind of think some people might have thought that. So, I'm glad Matt did that. I well appreciated, buddy. And like I said, he said, see you next one. So, thanks for doing that. Good guy, Matt. And if you guys don't watch Scotian Canadien, I can't stress it enough. You should be watching Scotian Canadien. Great analysis and a great channel he's got over there.
And Matt's just as frustrated. I watched Matt's video today. He's just as frustrated as I am. And actually, Matt probably has more answers than I got. That's why I was going to hope for him to be here tonight. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just so tired of watching the same show over and over again.
Yeah, no, I get it. Hang on, Randy. I'm going to so, Shamir, you talk for a sec. I got to send
it's just going back to what was said about the fact that if we do make the playoffs, it'll likely be us backing into the playoffs, which is what we've really done whenever we do make the playoffs, like 1 out of every 3 years now, it seems, for the most part. I just think that, last year we just made it into the play-in round. I mean, imagine if we had played Buffalo the night that the season got suspended, and if Buffalo had beaten us, we would have been that 25th team, being on the outside looking in. And look at how that returned, the RTP, just gaslit all of us, going into this season and thinking that this season will be different. Especially with all the new acquisitions. I mean, they've done their part, but it's just some of the those key cogs in the team, they've maybe taken a step back this season. I don't know if it's just natural decline or it's just they're just having like one of those bad seasons, those cyclical things.
On that note, we were just talking about how one or two players might have had their noses a little bent out of shape over a contract, but look at that Anderson. He's contributed like almost every single night that he's played. Like they got to look at him. How can they look at him and feel like he got a better deal than them? He's earning it every night.
Let's just do a little test here. Everybody, Rick, you go first. Pick your 5 players that you think are the best players on the Montreal Canadiens today. Who do you think have been the 5 best players?
God, that's not fair. Right now or over the whole season?
This whole season, like throughout the whole season. Who are the 5 best
Jake
players?
Allen, Anderson. Oh, boy. Consistently, you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Night in, night out. Who's our 5 best players? Night in, night out.
Perry, because Perry's got that one moment every game. Boy, after that, I'm having trouble. Gallagher once after his slow start.
I got one finger up.
And after that, I don't. So that's mine.
Shamir,
Randy? We're gonna get to you.
What 5 players do you think have been our best players night in, night out?
I would say Anderson, Allen. I would even say maybe Edmondson, just because the numbers show at least he's doing something right on there with the plus minus.
Still only got one finger up, guys.
Yes, I get that, and I don't think I'm going to name 5, but I would just even slide in Romanov in there.
All right. Well, even though you didn't name 5, and Shamir didn't even say Gallagher, but everybody named players that weren't here last season or any other season. They're all new players, except for Gallagher. I would name Gallagher and Petrie, even though I've been crapping on Petrie for his defensive play. It doesn't say that he's still been a huge asset to this team. So Gallagher and Petrie are really the only 2 that I would put that have been here for the past few seasons.
Yeah.
Everyone else is somebody new to this roster, Toffoli or Anderson or Jake Allen. Well, I mean, I have a hard time with Jake Allen. He's not really winning games.
But he's
playing well, but it's not his fault. The team's not scoring.
Well, but that's right. So that's why. How can you blame him in any way?
Yeah, because
he's done his part.
He's done his part.
I put him there.
But like literally, we all name players that are new to the team. We're not naming the guys that have been here. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna talk to Randy. So Randy N, who everybody's seen in the chat, obviously he's been here been around for a long time. We're gonna bring him in to say hi and ask us a question, have a short chat. Randy, how's it going, Randy?
Hey guys, nice seeing you all.
Hi, Randy.
Hey, Randy.
Same here. So you got a question for us?
Well, actually, I just want to talk about the Habs. That everybody's getting directed by the coach. And if you look at the offense, especially like, for example, the power play, with that drop pass, which they started this year, you see they drop the pass, so one guy has it, and then the 4 guys on the opposition are just looking at him. And they're using the same move. That's besides it's not working. Besides, on the 5-on-5, they're not entering the zone. If you look at, for example, just Toronto, Calgary, and Winnipeg, the last few games we had with them, they just have a way where their system, if someone goes on to them, they're able to pass it to someone who's open, and they just. I couldn't see exactly the game last game against Calgary, but it seemed like Calgary had the puck like 75% of the time.
Yeah,
and early on the year, right? And earlier on the year, if you see how Montreal scores their goals, they score their goals on takeaways. What happens on takeaways? They're 2-on-1, 3-on-2. They have the space, but they cannot control when it's 5-on-5 and they have the puck and they don't know what to do with it. It's only
Yeah,
when
they're
when
a
they're able
team.
to
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
only
Go
when
ahead.
they're able to get uh, takeaways, So like,
But Randy,
it's
here's the thing though. The last season and in the bubble, we had one of the top lines 5-on-5 in the whole NHL.
true.
Right? Like that's
True.
and that's the confusing. That's what's so frustrating about this team is the fact that the stats say one thing, and then what you're seeing on the ice some nights, you're going, what the hell is going on? Because the stats say we're good 5-on-5, and the stats say we have a great team on 5-on-5. And then when you watch the game, you go, what the hell is going on here tonight? Like, and it's then the next game will play amazing, and everybody will be back on the bandwagon. It's just so inconsistent. It's so frustrating. Like, I don't know where else to go with it. Like, other than to go, I'm just going to watch the game and see what happens. Like,
Yeah, Jeff, I've been a Habs fan forever, and if you remember 2010 with Jacques Martin and that ride we had against Washington and Pittsburgh,
yeah,
like during that season, if you remember, we sucked.
yeah,
Okay, and like, of course, I'm happy that it was so great that we beat Washington and Pittsburgh. But before that series started, for the first time ever as a Habs fan, I wanted the Habs to lose just to fire Martin. And when they beat those
a
two
lot of
teams,
people did.
Yeah.
seriously, that was the only time I wanted the Habs to lose. I never want in my life to lose. But when they got that run, of course, I want them to keep going after Pittsburgh and Washington. But then as soon as they beat them, I said, oh no, another year of Jacques Martin, because I didn't like the style. And the whole thing is, I would like to ask anybody who's not from Montreal, who's a Habs fan, to know that we as Habs fans will be deemed not to win a cup if we keep the mentality that the team has, or the media has, where they said we need a bilingual coach who doesn't skate on the ice. We get players to get directed by a coach to play on the ice, not someone who can talk to the media. Oh, now we're gonna win. So like,
No, I
I
agree.
don't like the mentality, and that's what I hate. I'm not saying Randy Cunningham was anything, but if you don't give people a chance, that's the mentality. And the thing is,
Well,
if I think about,
I don't know if you
I
guys
think about
listened to
2010.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, but let me finish.
Yeah.
Just to think, besides the Kovalev years, and we had the Danfus and Bellows, but Danfus Bellows was 93. But when you have the Kovalev years, you had some great, like even now, we have some great talent. We have Foley, Anderson, great supporting cast.
Yes,
But
that's what I keep saying.
What I tell people, we cannot tank like a Pittsburgh, like a Edmonton getting a McDavid, like a Toronto getting Austin Matthews. We hate finishing 7th, 8th, and we get the 16th pick, 18th pick overall in the draft. Meanwhile, we end up getting those good runs of 8th beating 1st. We get the 2014 run we beat Tampa, we beat Boston. Good and all. I want the whole prize. I don't want it every year. We cannot expect it, but with a supporting cast, I understand we can't get those type of those prime players as McDavid and Crosby, but we need, I feel, the whole important thing, a different system. Like, I still call it a dump and chase. At the beginning of the year, if I didn't look at every goal, like I've seen them all, but they're all on takeaways, which is great. They're man on. Against Toronto, when we beat them, we were man on. We forced them. Okay, what do I do now? They pass it, they give it away. Calgary had the puck, and they released back into the blue line. They let them enter. That's what I didn't like. And I still see it. And wow, that was the worst game I saw against Calgary. You have many bad games, but I'm watching. They have the puck. Oh, they play keep away, but it was 5-on-5. And like, to get the puck was when we got a power play.
I think in the last 2 out of the last 3 games, I've seen the two worst games I've seen them play in a year. Like, this is a team that's in a playoff spot.
Yeah, I don't like when people say, "Oh, we're missing Gallagher." It's true, we're missing Caulfield. What I don't want, Caulfield's gonna come in. He's a great player, but someone has to pass to him, and you can't say, "Oh, he's gonna score 5 power play goals if you've got 5." Like, same thing with Calgary. If he wasn't injured against Calgary, he has to score 3 goals. You're saying, like they were ineffective.
They were.
I don't want
last
to
night,
decimate Caulfield's confidence. And seriously, Tatar and Drouin are only playmakers. I understand they're struggling a bit, but I feel Drouin has improved in the bubble and this year by his takeaways. Before that, he was very lazy.
He's absolutely terrible lazy the last week or so. Terrible lazy.
Yeah, he has been, but this is his wrist. So.
Yeah, but the wrist doesn't stop you from going into the boards and
Jeff,
trying to win puck battles. Like, I'm sorry, but
Jeff,
he's faking.
Can you tell me who can bring over the puck?
What was that?
Who can carry over the puck into the zone? Maybe it's not their fault, or it's the system, which I don't like.
Well, I mean, Drouin's always done that drop pass, which drove me crazy because he always turned it over.
Yeah. But I'm talking. How about the drop pass with the power play? I understand it's a new system with Burrows, and the thing is, it's not only the drop pass. When they have the face-off in the zone, it seems like they're control the puck. They're not really confident to control it. Where if you let the opposition get just as close to you, then you pass it. Sometimes they pass it too early, and sometimes they pass it too late. When they pass it too late, opposition gets it. It's out of our zone. Change lanes.
I think part of that too is a little bit of youth and experience too. Getting a little nervous, right? I mean, we really have to we put a ton of pressure on Kotkaniemi and Suzuki this year. Like, the reason why Bergevin maxed out the cap was because he saw them take the next step, right? And I'm not going to shit on a young player because they're young, right? Like, I'll shit on Drouin now because he's not young anymore. He's 26 years old. He just needs to. Drouin needs to commit more. If he wants to be a big time player in Montreal, you need to commit. He needs to play defense. He needs to be involved in the game other than when the puck's on his stick. And even when the puck's on his stick, he's not doing that well. He had a pretty good stretch there when Dujarm took over. And I mean, he was getting assists and stuff at the first of the year, but I love Drouin. I watched him in Halifax. I think the guy has phenomenal talent, but I don't know what the hell's going on right now. I'm so disappointed with his play the last week and a half, 2 weeks. It's crazy. Like what is he doing? If you're gonna go, don't stop pretending. I'm tired of watching guys pretend on this team. And that's basically what I kind of seen the last. I didn't see the Toronto game the other night. I missed it, but the last couple games, it just seems like there's guys that they're willing to go right to the edge, but they won't go over the edge. They're like, I'm gonna, exactly. No, I don't want to do that, right? Exactly. And that's the difference between winning and losing. Inches.
Only Anderson seems willing to do that. Like that play last night where he got
Perry.
Got Drouin the puck, they led to the Kulak goal. I mean, he got knocked down and then just dove, and that extra effort. He's the only guy that's doing that consistently.
I mean, he's far from perfect.
No, he's not, but I get that. But he's doing those things. There's no second effort, it seems, from these guys. And I don't know what's up with that.
With the additions, I agree. You get a Staal. Perry was a great one, but we got slower.
Yes, we got way slower.
Staal looks slower. You got experience, but we got slower. I understand Lehkonen is stone hands, but everyone keeps complaining about Byron with his contract. Forget it. We're not the GM, but he is playing his heart out. But the thing is, the whole team has to account for what they're doing. You could blame Drouin, you could blame Weber, but if they're all not synced, I don't see Chris Paspas. I don't need the whole game, but I gotta see.
At the first of the year, though, I remember in one of the very first games of the year, I watching and saying in the live stream on Rick's live stream, saying this is the first time I've seen tape-to-tape passes in Montreal in a year, and they were doing that, And now it seems like they're fumbling the puck again, and they're having troubles, right? Like
it's like they're not focused. They come not ready to play, not focused. That's when I say unfocused. I mean, that's it. The passes aren't crisp. Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but yeah, it's horrible. It's just I don't get these. They're not prepared right. Are they? Is it the coach? And sorry, is it the coach, or I mean, shouldn't these guys kind of know how to be prepared? And why aren't the leaders preparing them?
I'd say it's partly the way they're coached. If you look at their shots and the way they shoot from outside the perimeter, it's good and all. They have 35 shots, but maybe 10 of them are quality shots.
Yes, that's
exaggerating.
10. You're awful generous.
and you see some when if you shoot from the slot, not from 10 degrees from the angle, you could get a lucky goal. But that's what I see. That's besides the point shots. Meanwhile, point shots hurt us, with Calgary getting 2 point shot goals against us. But there's one thing about defense, but they're not getting the offense. By the way, you can't always blame Allen or Price if they let in these goals. They've let in 2 goals, but we can't score 2 to tie it.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah, and this is something that I think
you're hoping for a power play, which we're 5-on-4, which we're not succeeding anyways.
These are areas I'm hoping Caulfield can help with. I noticed something with Caulfield's game that's maybe different than when I first started watching him. He tries to get into the center. He can fire from the perimeter, yeah, but he tries to get in the center. That's the new part of his game. And you saw him in Laval. He did it a couple of times, and he gets in there. And we need somebody that's able to do that. I know he's small and all that, but maybe he can show the way.
I was agreeing with what Jeff says. They're tentative. They're not giving the extra to say, "Oh, I could bring it over. Okay, let me just pass it there, and no one's there, and turn over."
Even watch how some of them skate off on a line change. Like they're not even they're coasting to the bench. It's like, come on, like just that little bit makes a difference.
Yeah, true.
Like there's times where guys are going for line changes, and if I was the coach on the bench, I'd be you stay out because you dogged it back, and this guy's not jumping on the ice to look bad because of the mistake you made, right? Like, man, guys are dogging it some nights, and it's if I was the coach, I'd be like, nope, stay out.
Yeah, like
skate
from far away. They're skating slow. They're not doing a line change. It's like skate there or else don't get off. It's ridiculous.
Like there was a couple times there in overtime where line changes. Like I know people are shitting all over Deneau and stuff like that, but like it's like get off the ice, like go. Like if you're gonna do a line change, do the line change. Do it with purpose.
Well, just the overtime, you see the non-confidence where they hold the puck and hopefully they could get a break or get the other people tired and go on. Like just the last few wins that we got, let's go into the blue line. Oh, nothing's looking good. Let's circle back. And it's the confidence. It's the confidence, which at the beginning of the year, they look super confident. We're getting 7-6 games, 6-5 games against 5-2 games against Vancouver. And those goals were quality goals. And I don't know. I'm not saying it's because Vancouver, but Winnipeg and Shea Calgary, they're out skating. They were out skating us. Like not only Ehlers and Connor, maybe not only out skating, but they're out playing. One man's on, they know where to pass it to the center, they pass it to the end, back to the defense. They're doing puzzles. They're just passing back and forth. We got an opening, they're gone. Because by that time, Canadians are tired. They go for a lazy line change. There goes the mistake. Cost a mistake, goal against us.
I watched the LA Vegas game last night, and that was probably some of the fastest hockey I've watched this year because I've pretty much only watched Montreal games. I've watched a few games here and there when I can, but it just seems like Montreal's on every night now, and it's hard to watch anything else. But I watched that LA and Vegas game, and I was like, this isn't wow. Like this is back and forth like crazy. I mean, the score reflected it too, right?
Yes, Jeff, we have the speed, but I feel they have the coach that's playing different. If you look, I might not know all the styles, but the way they enter the zone, like sometimes I see whether it's Kotkaniemi or when they do the power play, when they enter the zone, let's say they're preparing from Weber from behind the net, they're all aligned. One should be ahead, one should be behind. They're all aligned, so like they're doing like a flying V. Like they're not even doing a flying V, flying line, and like nothing's, and they all enter the same zone, right? Same time, because once they do a drop pass, they're gonna pass to the side, whether it's Tatar or whatever, and then they enter instead of the dump and chase. Something different, but it's not working.
You brought up Tatar. Like, there's a guy that I was crapping on for a while, but lately he's actually looked like he's got some effort. Like, he's actually engaged in the game. And, like, I'll give credit where credit's due. Like, Tatar's been pretty good the last few weeks. And
I understand he was slumping at the beginning.
Yeah.
But, like, for people before the season started, they said, well, I think Tatar might be on his way out. He was the top points getter the last 2 seasons. And
I still think he's on his way out. I don't think they bring him back.
Yeah, I agree. Because mind you, I don't.
He's going to cost too much, and they got Caulfield to take over his spot, right?
Exactly. That's why I feel. And the thing is, maybe Bergevin will sign the no because he doesn't like losing free agents. Which I give credit for Bergevin what he's tried to do this year, what he's trying, because not many bad trades he's made. What I fear is if Bergevin's gone, I don't know who's coming in. Because the Molson family, I don't think they're smart enough who to get.
I think we should let Shamir get on this conversation. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, I mean, hey, Randy, it's nice to put a face to the name. I mean, I certainly see you quite a bit in the, in the live streams. But
Yes.
just as we were saying on, just on Tatar, yeah, he always seemed like for most of the season, it just like along with Byron, it seemed like he just seemed to have one foot out the door already as being the most likely roster player to somehow leave the team, either like via trades or waivers or whatever.
Well,
and
the expiring contract, but yeah.
Yeah, and exactly. And that game that we played versus Toronto just before the bye week, when Tatar got benched, I remember we were all speculating on Rick's stream there, and I'm sure it was going on everywhere else in social media and, in terms of the Habs fan base. Does that mean that a trade is imminent and that, by the time the game is over, if Tatar was getting traded? I mean, that was definitely the speculation before we found out it was just to send a message to the rest of the team there that, it was just to, pretty much light a fire under everybody's butts there to step it up there.
When the trade deadline came and gone, while it was on the day, with Montreal in 4th place in the division, there was no way, which I don't think Bergevin was going to make a trade for trading away Danault or Tatar. Meaning, if you trade away those two, besides Habs fans, everyone will be on him to say, why would you trade these decent players while you're in the playoff push? You give up the season.
Right, signaling that exactly what they'd say. Yeah,
exactly. Especially,
If Montreal was in 5th or 6th, guaranteed those two would be gone to make something to come next year. Because now literally, like free agents, they could do what they want. If I was a free agent, I'd leave because I want my money. But the thing is, Danault and Tatar, I don't think Bergevin would like to lose both, and I agree with Jeff that the reasoning, most probably without saying it, it's Caulfield will be taking the place of Tatar, which Tatar is going to be asking $5-6 million. Which Danault, the thing is, I would love to keep Danault. The thing is, if you leave Danault, if you let Danault go, you got to go out get a number 1 center now. All you could say is KK and Kotkaniemi could be one of those two, but right now they're not. So if you lose Danault, which I know is not a number 1, you lose Danault, the free agent, you got to go get a top line center, which the Habs haven't gotten one in the free agency era in the last 10-15 years.
They can't afford to lose Danault. They need a
and also, and also if we do lose Danault and we try to get an upgrade, I mean, who are we really going to get in this flat cap era as well? Because that's not going to be cheap.
No, we're going to end up paying someone more than Danault to do the same or worse than Danault.
The only thing I think the Habs can hope is that if they sign Danault, And whether it's next year or 2 years, Dano could be a third liner and Kokanemi or Suzuki could be a first line. Because Dano has always been a great defensive player. And you tell me who's going to have the defensive responsibilities that Dano does. You could say Evans, but Evans not as how you say.
Well, he's not there yet. That's for sure.
That's puck savvy as Dano.
What do you guys think of this question here? Any thoughts on trying to trade for Laine this offseason? Because last week talked about it. I don't think so either. And do you think Columbus is going to trade him, or they're going to try to hang on to him?
He's too much of a prima donna. I mean, we don't really need that.
Hey, I'll take him depending on the price. Talent's talent.
You think his value's gone down a little bit?
Yeah, I agree with that statement. It could be the cheapest he'll ever be, cheapest contract he'll ever sign, cheapest what it will cost in a trade.
Yeah.
And then like 2 games into his Habs tenure, he'll be unhappy and he'll want out. I mean, it's
That's
just
true.
like seems to be a theme with Laine now.
Randy, what do you think about Laine? I've never gotten a chance to ask you about that. What do you think about the possibility?
I mean, his previous stats are all there. I mean, he has his end-to-end rush the other day. But I know he's just, like, in my mind, I keep on harping on this, but the system, the way Montreal Canadiens are playing, going through this different coaches, but same system, the only people I could see maybe making a difference here is like a McDavid or a Crosby. If I bring in a Laine, like, maybe I'm talking too much, but like, in the previous years, we had a Recchi, we had a Damphus. They did great, but those years of offense and it's a different style now. And like Laine, he could do it, like I said, but someone's got to get him the puck. You tell me who makes these nice passes? It's a Drouin, it's a Tatar, it's a Plekanec, which Plekanec retired. Like I know his year was gone. You tell me who else playmakers? Like you said, Shamir, Tatar. If you look at individual players, the way they play, look how they carry the puck. Whether they carry it in or they dump it in, and not everyone can make tape-to-tape passes, I know, but someone has to make that extra effort to draw that penalty. You have their speed, you could draw the penalty. You're gonna fall, yeah. I mean, not on purpose, but if you could draw a penalty, that just creates a power play. There's 2 minutes less for the opposition.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just frustrating. Watch the offense just flutter, like stumble,
Yeah, it is sad. It is sad with what it is. Okay, so we got to continue on with the rest of the show. We're running out of time. Randy, it was really nice to get to
great.
like Shamir said, put a face to the name. And thanks for being on here. And definitely hope to have you back on.
I'll try it next time. Okay, good luck, guys.
You had some really good insight there, and
Nice
that was
talking
great
to you, Randy.
having you. So thanks for being here. I really appreciate that, Randy.
Bye.
Have a great night. Okay, so we're gonna move on to see if we can cover some of the rest of the here stuff. Let's go with considering kind of the stuff we're talking about. Eric Staal joined this team. It seems like 6 games ago. Is it 6 or 7 games? I'm not sure 100% if it's 6 or 7 games that he's been on the
matter.
Right. Okay. So his numbers have been less than flattering.
Eric Stahl's actually been on the roster since his first game. Wow, I'm mind blown here.
Yeah, no, that's it. He's been invisible pretty much. Now Jeff has been one that was calling to get Staal, so I want to get his opinion, but I'll give you the numbers. Since he's been acquired, and I'm not sure because that was how it was termed, so I don't know if that's games he's played or since they acquired him in games since they acquired him.
Games he's played.
No, I don't think so because I think he's only played 6 games, but this is 7 games after last night. Their Habs are 2-4-1. They've scored 2.25. Well, that's not with last night's game, but 2.25 goals per game and 3.2 goals against per game. Stats aren't very good. He has 1 goal for 1 point and a -6 with 6 shots on net in 6 games. So my question is this, actually. Does Eric Staal still have the Buffalo flu? And I hope it's not spreading. I think in my preview video or my review video, I asked, do I need to get a vaccination for it too? Because
and also, which kind would it be? Johnson and Johnson, Pfizer, Moderna,
AstraZeneca. I got that one.
That's the way to go.
What do you guys think? You think something's wrong with Staal? You think he'll turn it around? What do you guys got? Any opinions? Shamir, go ahead. Since you were so quiet most of the time.
Well, I think it was pretty hard to match up with what Randy was saying
Randy
earlier.
Was good. Randy was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as Staal goes, it's, what can you say? He's just blended in really nicely with the rest of the team, struggling along with everyone else. It's just, he just seems to be invisible in a bad way. I mean, there can be invisible in a good way, like Edmondson, but this is just...
Yeah, this is not a good way.
Yeah, exactly. It's just... He just... I don't know. If you want to say that Eric Stahl's been a good fit for Montreal, yeah, he has been during this losing streak. I mean, he's just...
As bad as they are. He fit right in. He fit right in with their inconsistency and bad.
Yep.
Jeff, defend yourself on why you wanted to see... Because I take it that Montreal listened to you. You're the reason that we have Eric Staal. Defend yourself.
Come on. What did you really expect? He's going to play fourth line.
Well, but listen, it's only 2 games at fourth line. They did play him up front.
Because of injuries, but really he was brought in to be on the fourth line.
I would think.
I just wanted a veteran center with experience and playoff experience, and I think that's where he'll pay dividends. Hopefully he can win some more faceoffs. He's struggling with that a little bit, but he's still doing better than a couple guys last night anyway.
Last night they were all horrible.
Yeah. The only thing that kind of worried me about Eric Staal is the 2 times he's been traded at the deadline, he has not played well for the team that he got traded to.
Right.
So that kind of worried me, but he's he's 36 years old. I wasn't expecting him to come in and pull a Kovalchuk or even a Corey Perry.
Try to get a little rejuvenated getting away from Buffalo. What do you think? Is the Buffalo flu a thing?
No. I just think, well, that's the other thing. He's 36 years old. He had what? How many days was he on quarantine? Right,
well, he's played enough games that he should be at least starting to show some sparks.
Man, we've been giving Drew and some of these guys years to produce. At least he scored a goal, an overtime winner.
Thank you, not Jeremy. Sorry, thank you, Gabriel. Thank you so much, Gabriel. Some Gabriel hype in the room. Thank you. Staal is older now. I don't expect him to be a star.
He's 36 years old. Right?
I listen, but I didn't expect him to be a star. Thanks again, Gabriel. I really appreciate that. I didn't expect him to come here and be a star, but I did expect him to come here and contribute something.
I mean, at the end of the day,
he got a game winner. He got a game winner. Okay, that is contributing, but he's been awfully quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think I even said, and I think this was really the consensus when we had our previous group panel. I think this, shortly after the Staal acquisition was made, it was, really a low risk, low cost acquisition. We didn't really give up much, so expectations.
Another half measure.
Yeah, expectations. Yeah, just give us a little bit more depth. Maybe if we need to move, KK out to the wing or whatever, that we can get just that bit more center depth. But considering the rest of how the rest of the team has been playing, I mean, it's not just on Staal. It's just really it's just been a team wide kind of thing. I mean, he's just the the symptom really of a lot of what's going on right now. And It's I I think still, yeah. If we did bring him in for face-offs, yes, that would be helpful, especially on power plays. For instance, because if we're constantly losing, face-offs in the power play, that's 10 to 20 seconds wasted right there, and you don't really have much time to get something going on there when you're constantly just chasing the puck, or if it leads to like shorthanded opportunities or whatever.
Well, last night I
need
think
to
they
know.
only won 5 face-offs in the
Yeah.
defensive zone. Like
That's
that's why they lost the game.
yeah. It was 60-40 percentage-wise. It was 60-40 for Calgary.
Yeah, but I think I think it was only 3 or 5. I can't remember. I looked it up this morning and I can't remember now. But
They were horrible.
in the defensive zone, like the Hannafin goal literally was because of face-offs. They lost 3 in a row in their own end and couldn't change. Like
No, and screens. I mean, they screened their goalie both first 2 goals. Almost exact duplicates too. Point shots through a screen. Allen never saw anything.
Scotian's not going to be able to come in. He was in the chat there earlier and said he's having internet issues.
I have the comments off. Shit. Hang on. Yeah, Scotian.
But as far as
he put up a comment earlier apologizing, but he had technical problems and he couldn't make it in. So.
And same with Harry. Harry had to bow out.
So Harry will be on. He'll be on pretty much every panel if he can, and Scotian said he'll be on the next one. So it shouldn't be too much longer, and we'll have him on the channel.
He's not Dale Weeson, you guys. He's not Dale Weeson yet.
No, he's not. He's not. Listen, Matt's a stand-up guy because he let me know right away he was having problems, and then he put up a comment to let everybody know that I wasn't bullshitting about it. So, no, Matt's a good guy, and he'll be on definitely coming up as soon as we can get him on. Before we have to go, I got a question that I want to. Well, first, let's go one thing. Considering the game last night, chances of the Habs making the playoffs, and then I've amended it to say not making but chances in the playoffs, and then amended it to say chances of them maybe making the playoffs. I think it's unlikely that they don't make the playoffs. But what do you guys think? What do you think? You think they're any danger of them actually blowing this? And then once they make it, what do you think the chances are?
Well, certainly at the time of the coaching changeover, it looked like that as long as the Habs go 500, we should be okay and make the playoffs. But I still think that we could, but just back end, kind of like how we just back ended into the RTP. But the other wild card is that if Vancouver does not get in all 56 games and we go to winning or points percentage or whatever, I mean, that's what we'll really have to, look at, because with the latest delay with the Canucks, I mean, who knows what's going to, happen in that sense. But if somebody were to say that, if the Habs play maybe 250, 333 percentage hockey between now and the end of the season, I don't think I would really, there's part of me that wouldn't disagree with that. And if we play like that, then obviously we're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I said that in my preview that if they still have to play 500 hockey, if they don't, it could be, this isn't written in stone, they're going to make it to.
I think it's 60-40. 60, yeah, they make it.
Like that. I mean, listen, they got to play really bad hockey not to get
it. It depends on, like, we got to remember, Price is going to be back tomorrow. Gallagher's gone for the year, but Sherratt's going to be back. They're saying he's very close. Armia just came back. He's got to get back up to speed. Like,
yeah,
I'm hoping that, and I'm expecting Caulfield real soon, as much as, like, I'm kind of against that. But I have a feeling that they're going to get in a position where they need to call him in and see what the kid can do. So if everything goes according to plan, I think they'll be, I think they still have a pretty good chance of staying in the playoffs. Now, as far as once they get in the playoffs, I'm sure people don't like me anyway, so it doesn't matter. if they play the Leafs in the first round, I don't know if they're going to beat the Leafs. I really don't.
You were saying last night, I think even that you think they're going to get swept.
I think they could get swept by the Leafs.
Yeah.
We just have to cross our fingers that they play like they did in the RTP, where they surprise all of us pretty much.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Well, they got to play. They got to play better. They definitely have to. For me, I mean, if they can't play 500 hockey, well, the rest of the way, then they don't.
They haven't played 500 hockey all year. Like,
it.
if Morgan's classic Habs fan lose a couple games, they haven't won. When's the last time they won 2 in a row? Like, they're under 500. Besides loser points, they're under 500. They've lost more games than they won.
Right.
It's more than a couple games.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not one of those types that says I'm in panic mode, fire the GM and tardy everyone.
But Randy just asked, do you give Bergevin, if they miss the playoffs, I think he's done. I don't see how they can bring him back. Like, Jeff Molson's going to have to do a lot of PR to justify keeping Molson or keeping Bergevin around for another year. Like, he's had 9 years. That's most GMs don't get that unless they're making the playoffs every year, and we haven't.
Well, I mean, if they do if they do finish fourth and they do make the playoffs, I mean, the other question is how well do they do in the playoffs? If they get swept in the first round, then maybe with Bergie, maybe his job would be shaky. But let's say if they make it to the second round or into the final four, I mean, Habs have surprised us, at times in the playoffs too.
I think the only way he keeps his job against if they end up playing the Leafs in the first round is if they make it a really good 6-game series and lose, he may keep his job. 7 games, he probably keeps his job. But if they do 5 games or 4 straight, I think he's done.
Yeah.
Just not to step on toes here, but if Bergevin is gone, do you think Didi, is back for another season, or is it just because Didi has a built-in excuse that he does come back?
Well, if Bergevin's gone, I don't think it guarantees Ducharme's job's not guaranteed at that point. Because the GM will come in and they'll want their guy in there unless Ducharme's their guy. That's
Morgan, what do you talk? They're 5 over 500. What? Man, like yeah, that's NHL 500. They've lost more games than they've won. They've lost in overtime.
What's their record? I don't have it up there. The record is what? 18, 10, and 9? 18, 11, and 9? Something like that. Anyways, they've lost more games than they've won because an overtime or shootout loss is a loss. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, you get points for it.
You don't get nothing in the playoffs for losing in overtime. You get bounced out on your ass is what you get.
The Jets could catch the Leafs. That's true.
I thought the Jets were going to win the division anyway.
Hey, Roger. Thanks for being here, buddy.
See you, Roger.
Greg says they're 18, 13, and 11. Not 11. I think it's 9. So 18 and 22. Does that make sense? That's 40. They haven't played 40 games. Have they? They haven't played 40 games. Maybe they have. That's something like that. But look at that. That's not a winning record. Not anything I grew up with. All right. So I think that's it. I don't think we're going to touch on anything else. We're over the hour and a half anyway. Listen, this was a great first try. We had some technical issues. I want
18, 13, and 9.
And 9. That's what I thought. So I want to thank everybody for checking us out. I want to thank everybody who gave a thumbs up. I know I didn't push it that much. I want to thank Gabriel for the donation. I appreciate that, buddy. And this is going to be a regular thing on this channel. We're going to have our regulars and our guests, and it'll change up a little bit depending on the show. And hopefully you guys like this. So thanks everybody.
I don't think they did.
I know. I think so. We've still 54 people in the room. I think we did okay. And just like you guys made it great. And thanks to Randy for being here.
Randy was great.
Randy was fantastic. So Randy, thanks for being here. Hope to have you on again. And that was great. And next time, I hope we'll have a little more participation that way. And like always on my live streams, the possibility if you want to be on and ask a question or have a chat, will always be there. So remember that going forward. And that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Really do appreciate it. On behalf of the boys and myself and Harry Rice, don't forget, if you go check Harry Rice's channel after every game and give him a subscribe. Don't forget to do that. I hope you guys will do that. And that's it. So on behalf of the boys in the room, I want to thank you all for being here. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. Go Habs, go for the next game. Bye, everybody.
See you guys.
See ya.